is The Road to Tokyo.
Hello, and welcome to The Road to Tokyo, the VR sculpting battle preliminaries presented to you by Paint and Oculus Medium. I'm Brian Sharp, one of the original co-founders of Oculus Medium, and I'll be your host, as well as part of the judging panel for this tournament.
Oculus Medium is a virtual reality sculpting application designed for the Oculus Rift and Touch. It's an insanely intuitive way to create 3D models. It's like manipulating clay in VR. You're able to get from concept to design in an extremely short period of time, which is why we had this crazy idea to use Oculus Medium for speed sculpting. Back in 2017, the Medium team traveled to the Limits World Grand Prix in Osaka, Japan, hosted by Paint. It's an incredibly high-energy digital arts battle, and we witnessed outstanding 2D art created at lightning speed. This year, we are going back, but this time, we are taking Medium artists with us to compete in VR battles.
This is the first of a three-part series that we're hosting here today in Menlo Park, then New York City, and finally in London.
In each city, 8 artists will compete in a knockout-style tournament, one-on-one, in head-to-head 10-minute sculpting battles, where they will use Oculus Medium, starting from a blank slate.
And the winner of this Menlo Park VR sculpting battle today will win an all-expenses-paid trip to compete in the VR battles in Tokyo. This is The Road to Tokyo.
Quarterfinals, Battle 1.
We're just about ready to kick off the very first quarterfinal match between Momo and Kevo. Momo, how you feeling? You ready?
Nervous, but definitely excited.
My name is Brian Momo Koshu, and I am a concept artist at Skydance Interactive. The thing about Medium is that I'm able to generate my art very efficiently and in very fluid form.
How about you, Kevo?
Let me tell you something, brother. I'm ready for you.
No, for reals? Good luck. Good luck.
My name is Kevin Ung, also known as Kevo. I happen to be a freelance artist. But actually, it was Medium that caught me. And it's the big reason of why I'm here, because that was the first program that really allowed me to reconnect with the kid inside.
I'd like to introduce the other judge in the judging panel today, Lydia Choi. She also happens to be the other co-founder of Oculus Medium.
Hey, I'm super happy to be here.
When the 10 minutes are up, Lydia and I will score the individual sculpts based off of 4 criteria. First one is the idea. Second is speed. Third is technique. Finally, visual storytelling. Think of this like flair. We'll judge how the artist is able to perform. So we're gonna pick a theme. Once the artists have had a second to process the theme, the clock is gonna start. Headsets on, and then 10 minutes to sculpt their masterpieces. Lydia, can we get a theme from you?
And the theme is Miracle Hero.
Miracle Hero. You guys got it? All right, Lydia, let's get this show on the road.
Quarterfinals, battle number 1. Momo versus Kevo, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fight!
All right, let's see what's happening here.
Yeah, Miracle Hero. Part of the fun of these is, as things are kind of just beginning, trying to guess what the artists are doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is funny to look at the different styles. Like Kevin almost looks like really relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Momo almost looks like he has this it's like a really solid stance.
Yep.
I feel super grounded.
That's right. Yeah, it would be harder to knock Momo over at the moment than Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah, I think even at the beginning, we differentiated more between like drawing and sculpting, and really like VR kind of blurs the lines.
I also think as we've added and kind of expanded the tool set over the years, I think that's helped blur the lines too, right? It's easy to kind of fill in, forms or to grab things with Move and stretch them around.
5 minutes left.
I do appreciate Kevin's use of the basic primitives. I think that's like a very essential, like using the capsule is maybe an underappreciated form. See people, because we've got this library of stamps, so you can use all these kind of shapes with ready-made detail, but I think using the essentials sometimes for massing things out gets you this kind of purity that you can't get any other way.
Yeah, it feels a lot like just laying down clay.
Yeah, I feel like they both pace themselves pretty well.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, totally.
1 minute left.
Yeah, good time to make some lighting changes.
I was gonna say, coming right down to the end here.
We have 10 seconds.
Prepare to finish in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Headsets off.
All right.
Headset up.
I'm gonna say in terms of speed, I was really impressed with both of their
Yeah.
work. And I can tell technique is going to be a tough one because they both had strong technique. You could see them using the tool well. They knew where to find things. I didn't see anyone really fumbling or trying to figure out how to get something done. They kind of knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and I liked the relaxed pose and like the intensity, and like Momo took a sci-fi approach, and like Kevin took a, I guess, like faith-based approach.
Kevin's was more of a reveal, right, where you didn't know what it was for a while, but I think that made Momo's, there was a lot of power in the gesture, and you could see it immediately. So I think both of them had their merits.
Time for judgment.
All right, well, in this case, it was an extremely narrow decision, but we do have a decision, and I'm excited to announce that the winner of this round is Momo. Congratulations, really nice work. Kevin, thank you so much. Amazing work also.
Momo wins and advances to the semifinals.
Hi guys, this is Naomi from the Medium team. We are here backstage for the Road to Tokyo Menlo Park first preliminary. Here are the first two contestants. Hi guys.
Quarterfinals, battle number 2.
Here we are ready for the second quarterfinal battle between Brandon and Rose. Brandon, how you feeling? You ready?
I'm excited.
My art style is, I try and stay pretty conceptual. I keep it high level. The first time I used VAR was a few years ago. I was actually testing it out for a game company. They were thinking about making games in it, and they wanted to get some user research, so they brought me in. It was before any of the headsets were even released yet. And I fell in love. It was, kind of a transformative experience. And then I've been a lover of it ever since.
All right, Rose, how about you?
I'm pumped.
All right.
Hi, my name is Rose Pang, and I'm a UX designer at Magic Leap. If I was to describe my art style, I would say kind of cartoony and whimsical with like a splash of realism. I really love just the hand controllers on the Oculus. They are so natural to me. So normally if I'm sculpting in 2D on a computer, I'm using a mouse, and I only see 2 dimensions at a time. While in VR, in Medium, I can move the scene very naturally.
So again, we're gonna pick a theme. Once the artists hear the theme, they'll have a minute to think about it. Once we start the timer, their headsets go on. They have 10 minutes to complete their sculpt. Lydia, want to tell us what the theme for this battle is?
Danger technology.
Danger technology. You heard it. All right.
Quarterfinals, battle number 2. Brandon versus Rose. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fight.
Yeah, it's interesting again to see like the different approach here where Rose is definitely taking more of like a blocking out sketch style, where Brandon is putting together some really precise shapes.
These are our 3rd and 4th sculptors that we're seeing compete, and we have yet to see anyone use really the same style as another artist. It'll be interesting as the day goes on to see how that shapes up. Good use of stamps on Brandon's side there.
It's cool to see some people using stamps as almost like a kit bashing technique, and then other people using it more as like just laying down strokes of different shapes.
Right. Yeah, for those who don't know what kit bashing is, it's kind of a term used in the modeling, and especially it's like a practical effects thing, right? Where it was, artists would get those model kits, for mechs or vehicles or anything, and then just use parts from a bunch of different kits together to come up with new forms.
5 minutes left.
Man, it is just fascinating to watch how different these two sculptures are coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, on Rose's side, she's almost being more like loose and abstract, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, something takes form, and then it's like you start to see the story unfold there. Yeah, and Brandon definitely keeping his composure and still being really precise.
I was going to
really
say,
impressed.
I feel like he really went in with an idea of what he was going to do, and maybe took a risk at the beginning, getting a bunch of stuff set up initially, but you can see his thought process.
2 minutes left.
I think we're starting to see kind of a cadence emerging, kind of similar to the earlier battle, where now we're seeing some kind of color detailing and painting over on Rose's side.
1 minute left.
Some missive kind of accessorizing on Brandon's side.
And you have 10 seconds left.
Prepare to finish in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Headsets off.
This was kind of like, it went through several phases for me. Initially, I felt like Brandon's, I was really thinking he was going to take it because his work was so precise, but then it felt like he just kind of got to this point where he kind of ran out of ideas.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. He had like one really solid idea, and he like actually the focus on precision maybe made him falter a little bit on like the storytelling part.
Yeah.
But then on Rose's side, it's like it probably looks more, like loose and like sketchy, but there's like a clear like narrative there.
Time for judgment.
All right, thanks so much to both of the artists. That was amazing work. It was really delightful watching you guys work. Pretty dramatic, some kind of twists and turns. In the end, we've deliberated, we've come to a decision. The winner of quarterfinal match number 2 is Rose. Yeah. Thank you both so much. Amazing work on both sides. Excited to see what you do next.
Rose wins and advances to the semifinals. Quarterfinals, battle number 3.
We're ready for our third quarterfinal battle. This one between Dylan and Warren. Dylan, how you feeling?
Great. Hi, my name is Dylan Sisson. I'm a digital artist, and I work in the RenderMan group at Pixar Animation Studios. With Medium, one of the things I like about it is that you can create these complicated surfaces, very organic, and then export them and use that to create 3D printed objects.
Warren, how about you?
My name is Warren Reed, and I work as a live production specialist. Medium has changed the way I approach art in that it's really just helped me design better, but actually stepping in the world and creating in that environment is really freeing and like a lot more intuitive than you would think.
Lydia, do you want to go ahead and tell us what the theme for this battle is?
All right. This time the theme is Secret Duel.
Secret Duel. You guys got it?
Quarterfinals, battle number 3. Dylan versus Warren. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fight.
Themes like this are interesting because it's a lot to convey in terms of a narrative with a single sculpt, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see what they come up with.
And just in case people are curious, we are judging on the idea itself, the speed, and the technique, and also the visual storytelling.
Right.
Also known as flair.
Really seeing some stylistic differences here, a lot of organic work over on Dylan's side, a lot of more kind of hard surface, seeing some constraints and construction methods over on Warren's side. Both really hitting the ground running.
Totally. Yeah, I can see Dylan's using the move tool to lay out his shapes.
Right, really seeing some forms start to emerge. I think that's especially interesting when someone's using the move tool, right? Like it's, a lot of what makes, especially an organic sculpt, really read well is, clean, plane changes and transitions and stuff like that. And it's easy if you're not careful with something like the move tool to just kind of end up with something a little bit blobby. So it's really nice to see the shape starting to emerge.
Totally.
We'll note every battle we've seen so far, the artists really approach it both stylistically differently and also they have different approaches in terms of the order they do things in, but both of them are choosing the colors that they want as they're laying the clay down, which I think is interesting.
I've noticed like it depends on the background you come from. Like if you're more of a traditional sculptor and you worry more about forms, often like you don't really care about color until the very end.
Oh, that's a good point because you're used to working with clay, right?
But then otherwise, if you treat it more like a drawing, a lot of times people choose the color as they go. It's cool to see the interpretation.
Right.
Like one side is more abstract than the other, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, yeah, this is probably one of the most, I would say, narrative of the themes that we've had so far, right? The other ones maybe was a little more obvious, just an object that you could make that would convey the theme, whereas this really has to be kind of like sort of an interaction or a relationship. So it's especially interesting, even more. The other ones, it was interesting to see the ideas take shape, but this one, really, it's almost like watching a little mystery, like how are they gonna turn this into a secret duel?
Prepare to finish in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Headsets off.
stylistically, they're very different. I think that's the thing that I kind of go to is, I was expecting through most of the competition that my challenge would be that I thought that Dylan's technical execution really outpaced Warren's, but I didn't know that he was going to hit the theme, specifically Secret. And I think that addition of the kind of spilled bottle at the end really did it for me.
On the other hand, like Warren, like he laid out a scene like super fast.
He did.
Like he used really good kit bashing techniques.
Warren's is definitely kind of a diorama. It feels, kind of deliberately rougher for sure. To what extent is a lack of polish a stylistic choice, right?
That's true, yeah.
Time for judgment.
All right, Dylan, Warren, thank you so much for your guys' patience through some twists and turns. You did amazing work. We're in awe of both of your skill levels. We thank you so much for coming out. In the end, we did come to a decision. The winner of the third quarterfinal round is Dylan. Thank you so much. Excellent work, both of you. It's a pleasure. Honored to have both of you. Thanks so much.
Dylan wins and advances to the semifinals.
The thing I tried to do was a little shaky at first, and I managed to pull it out at the end, so I was happy about that.
Quarterfinal, battle number 4.
Well, it's just about time for our fourth and final quarterfinals match. This one between Nathan and Sasha. Nathan, how you feeling? You ready?
Feeling pumped. Let's do this.
Hi, my name's Nathan Hayward. I'm a systems engineer at a hospital in Oregon. That's my day job. At night, I do VR sculpting, animation. I'm using Oculus Medium to create some of my favorite comic book characters and then produce those into 3D prints.
Sasha, how about you?
Fabulous. My name is Alexandra Menshikova. Some people know me as Sasha. I'm an XR artist freelancer. Is like most of the time. Medium actually changed my life because I can capture my ideas like right away, and I can see as a full immersive, and I can rotate it like right away. It's easy to express myself in Medium.
Lydia, you want to give us a theme for this battle?
And this time the theme is passion exercise.
Passion exercise. All right, get thinking. We'll get you sculpting here in just a minute.
Quarterfinal, battle number 4. Nathan versus Sasha. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fight.
Okay, this time we both have symmetry on.
Still some slight setup differences.
Yeah, there's some angle and grid snap happening on one side.
I like this is a theme. Every quarterfinal match you get kind of an initial difference where one is right out the gate a little more organic, one's a little more hard surface.
Nathan has upped the spec and metalness.
That's true. Whereas Sasha's already hit that increase res. Yeah, very different approaches. Interesting, I would say, I think Nathan is the first person whose default material that he's using is super metallic. Kind of like it. Like you were saying, a lot of the clay sculptors or people who are used to other digital sculpting, kind of pick some matte, either beige or reddish or, whatever. It's interesting to see what helps people see the forms.
It's also interesting to see how people organize their sculpt into layers, particularly for like organic forms.
Right. Because eventually you want to be able to merge to build your transitions, but you don't necessarily want to lock everything in immediately.
It's cool to see Nathan building out the entire scene now.
Yeah. When I do, I remember a while back seeing, once we got stamps in at all right, seeing artists start using it. I think rocks in particular, right, like a super interesting one, because you can, just with a little rotation and scale variation, I guess it's kind of the same as trees, right? You can make a really compelling landscape.
It's cool to see Sasha's more character-centric approach.
Yeah, and a lot of personality coming into it too.
1 minute left. Prepare to finish in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Headsets off.
This one is interesting to me because I see the concepts they were both going for sure. Sasha spending a lot of time on the emotion in the face, I think was really going for the passion part of passion exercise. And I think, Nathan working, he started with a cyclist and you could kind of get the sense of that, and the gesture of the figure, I think, kind of conveyed the passion. I think where I'm falling down with Sasha is just the completion level of the exercise portion, right? I think the theme doesn't necessarily come through as strongly. Whereas I think, Nathan got as far as really getting like a landscape in and all that kind of stuff. And so it was interesting to watch both of them work.
With Nathan, it seems like he definitely was able to flesh out his idea more. It was interesting how he kind of like started off with like this really close up on like the motorcyclist, and then all of a sudden there's like this giant landscape that kind of like completed the story, right?
Right.
On Sasha's side, I liked her use of lighting. I liked how she had a more sort of like meticulous approach to it. So it was cool to see the contrast in approach.
Time for judgment.
Nathan and Sasha, it was a pleasure watching both of you work. Really respect both of you for coming out here and doing this. Thank you so much. We're really honored to have you. We did come to a decision. The winner of the fourth quarterfinal match in the MPK Road to Tokyo is Nathan. Thank you so much.
Nathan wins and advances to the semifinals.
I'm feeling stoked. I can't believe I just won. So it was really a hard category for me.
I'm so excited about today because, I've seen these sculpting battles before, and it's just crazy how fast the artists work to create something in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I agree. I always find it delightful. And I would say that's actually one of the things in general that artists respond really well to with Medium is how fast and fluid the work is. I think that's why we see a lot of artists actually using this in their professional pipelines now, kind of seasoned 3D modelers that have started using Medium in their professional work.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And, like the surprising thing is that not just 3D artists pick this up, like 2D artists, illustrators, concept artists, even like traditional clay sculptors, they've embraced this tool and they said it's really intuitive and the learning curve is really, really short.
I think you'll definitely see the diversity of artists reflected in the slate that we have competing over these semifinals, which is super exciting to me.
Semifinal, battle number 1.
We're excited to be in the first semifinals round for the Menlo Park Road to Tokyo Oculus Medium competition. How you feeling about this, Momo? You doing all right?
Still nervous.
It would be great to win and go to Tokyo. However, this experience is more about me knowing the Oculus Medium community better and make new friends.
How about you, Rose?
I'm pumped. I'm good. I just want to focus on today's battle, and see how far I get, and just have fun. I'm really just here to have fun.
As ever, we're going to pick a theme. You're going to have a minute to digest that theme. Then we're going to start the timer, headsets on, and you have 10 minutes to complete your sculpt. Lydia, do you want to give us a theme for the first semifinals round?
Okay, and this time the theme is infinite nature.
Infinite nature. So deep. Meditate on that for just a moment, and then we'll get you sculpting.
Semi-final, battle number 1, Momo versus Rose, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fight!
I think Infinite Nature is my favorite of the themes that we've had today.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like a good,
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
There is.
One might say infinite possibilities.
Oh, you might say that.
It's cool to see the different starts again.
Mm-hmm.
Momo doing his sketchy.
Right, I was going to say that I'm recognizing these styles from the quarterfinals. So far, I'd say a clearer concept from Rose. Still looking at Momo's.
Momo's using one of my favorite stamps.
That is also one of my favorite stamps. I'm with you on that. It's a good stamp.
Like Rose's concept. It is starting to sprout.
Oh, yeah, it sure is.
As you might say.
You could say it's kind of growing into view. Starting to get a sense of where Momo's going too. I feel like there's only so many times I can just remark on how amazing it is to see great artists work kind of like resin to focus so quickly. Like people are just going to get bored of me saying that every single round, but I'm kind of struck by it right now. It's really just delightful to watch.
5 minutes left.
I'm going to say, even before these sculpts are finished, both of them could potentially make really good tattoos.
It's a great point, and I'm not going to argue it. You want to flip a coin for who gets which?
Oh man, watching these two, it's going to be really hard to judge.
Yep.
Like they're both really strong
Really
pieces.
delivering.
And you still have 2 minutes left.
That's right. Down to the 2-minute mark. Might want to save again.
Yeah, both of these have like really strong ideas and strong execution, which is like really impressive to watch.
Yep. I think it's the same thing. Good time management on both sides. They like had an idea where they were going and moving with purpose, but nobody seems rushed.
1 minute left. Prepare to finish in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Headsets off.
Nice work.
Yeah.
I'm super impressed.
Yeah, amazing job.
Oh God, can never get used to this. It's just so nerve-wracking every time up on that stage. I think overall I was able to execute it fairly well.
So I saw Momo sculpt, and I was just mind blown, and I'm like, oh God, there's no way I can compete with that. I think I made a handful of mistakes, like I didn't have the mirror tool on during certain portions, so I had to redraw the same thing twice, which took a lot of time. I think I wasn't keeping track of scale, so a lot of details were lost.
Yeah, this is really tough for me because on the one hand, I was watching Momo sculpt the whole time, hoping that he was going to go. But I feel like the quarterfinal round, he went back and he really added some color, and I was hoping that he would, because I think the idea that I'm getting from Infinite Nature with him is the skull is kind of, it's like a death rebirth, right? It's infinity through the rebirth cycle. But I kind of, the one thing that I'd pick on is I feel like the tree and the live stuff not having a little more vibrant color to it kind of detracts from that theme for me. They're both so good, it's just hard to know.
Yeah, it's really hard to know. Like, I really like Rose's clever, just the way she played with like scale and sort of extending like the dragon out at a distance, because in VR that probably looks amazing.
Right.
Like there's like a really cool like sort of playing to your the medium that you're making.
When I was watching her sculpt the planet at first I was like, oh, that's like a really low detail planet. Is she gonna have to spend a ton of time rezzing it in? But then when I saw what she was doing, I was like, that's, we talk about spending the 10 minutes wisely. I think she knew exactly it's gonna be a very small part of the composition. It's okay for it to be that, she really spent her time in a super effective way, I think, probably optimally.
Time for judgment.
So I want you to know that this was by far the hardest of the rounds that we have had to judge today. You both did phenomenal work. It was an absolute honor to watch you guys both work. What you accomplished was amazing. We deliberated for a while. We did come to a decision. In the end, the winner of the semifinal round 1 is Rose. If it's any consolation, I believe Lydia is committed to getting a full back tattoo of your sculpt. Your work was amazing. It was an incredibly difficult decision. Thanks both of you for really like gracing us with letting us watch that. Thanks so much.
Rose wins and advances to the final.
I think I like to focus more on telling a story rather than like getting a really nice tight sculpt with good details and good use of technology. Like I think knowing that my weakness is the technology, I push it in the storytelling realm.
Semi-final battle number 2.
It is time for our second semi-final competition round between Dylan and Nathan. You guys ready? Dylan, how you feeling?
Great. It turns out that 10 minutes isn't a lot of time to sculpt anything. So going into that, you have to have some ideas and then some flexibility in trying to work as fast as possible and not get bogged down in any one particular thing.
Nathan, how about you?
Ready to go. It's going to be very tough. The 10-minute timer is going to be crazy. I think you just have to think of something so quick and be fast and know the software.
Lydia, you want to tell us the theme for this round?
Oh, we have nostalgic technology.
Nostalgic technology. Oh. All right, guys, think on that for a minute, and then we'll get going.
Semi-final, battle number 2, Dylan versus Nathan. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fight.
I like both of the themes we've had for the semifinals so far.
Yeah.
Infinite nature and nostalgic technology.
Yeah, totally.
They're like way more literal than the themes we ended up with for the quarterfinals. It was pretty abstract.
Someone used the cut tool. It's pretty cool.
Wow. I think in an earlier round, I was talking about how some tools don't get a lot of playtime by minutes, but I think cut is the key example of one that you're not gonna spend like an hour and a half using the cut tool in a sculpt because a cut only takes you half a second, right? But always hard to know. Interesting. I think maybe I'm starting to get an idea of where Dylan's going. Still not really sure with Nathan. It's, they both like really hit the ground running, clearly had a clear purpose. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Although with Nathan's, he's spot on with the color, the coloring.
That is true. Okay, yeah, you're right. Now I see. Just as you said that. It's one thing to be really good with a tool like Medium when you've got all day, but it's a very different set of skills, right, to be able to produce something this quickly. Feel pretty strong about the theme interpretations in both cases here.
It's cool to see that on both sides, both people have used pretty much the same shape brush.
1 minute left.
They've been using the same brush on both sides, and it's been working for their theme.
Right. Interesting technical extensions, I think, for both of them from what we saw in the quarterfinals. They're using similar approaches, but with kind of some significant differences that I think are kind of stepping the work up a level in both cases.
Prepare to finish in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Headsets off.
Nice job, guys.
So I decided to do a Commodore 64. We'll see if anyone recognizes it. It was a tape-based computer. It was the first computer I ever used in the 5th grade. I'm hoping for the best. I mean, I really would like to get to the finals, so we'll see.
I got most of it done, and there was a couple things I wanted to do that I didn't get to, but what I did get done, I'm pretty happy with.
It's so funny because, for both of them, they have just like different types of nostalgia. Like for Dylan, it's kind of like a vintage vision of the future thing, and I love like his smoke effects and like the just like the clean forms and clean lines, just like give this like really fun like toy-like feel to it.
Yeah, what I really loved about watching Dylan work, I think it was the best example we've seen, or that I've seen today, of the visual storytelling thing, because it was literally like watching him machine that rocket, right? It was like he was like drawing this form out and then cutting it. Like when we talk about Medium, kind of the substance in Medium having a tactility to it, I think he really showed that off. Like it was just amazing watching him craft that rocket, right, out of nothing. I thought it really blew me away.
With Nathan's, it's like, I mean, we all, not to age us, but we all grew up in that era, and that clunky beige aesthetic is just kind of like perfect, like everything. I
was impressed with Nathan's, in terms of the kind of speed category, the way that he really was quick at like making a stamp out of a few, to quickly duplicate the keys, to kind of block the keyboard in. Like he really covered a lot of ground really quickly.
And he also captured, like in the little time that he had, he captured the details that basically communicated the object.
Time for judgment.
Watching these semifinal competitions is just such a treat because there's just so much talent on display. Watching both of you work, I think you both captured the theme incredibly well. You both conveyed the sense of what you wanted to convey. You both did amazing work. In the end, after deliberation, we did come to a decision, and the winner of the semifinal round 2 is Dylan. Congratulations, awesome work. Awesome work, both of you. Thank you so much for your participation. It was just an honor to watch you work.
Dylan wins and advances to the final.
This last one was stressful, but I got through it. I wish I would have done a little bit better, but it was a lot of fun.
Menlo Park final. Who's worthy of being crowned the ultimate champion?
The dramatic fog on set can only mean one thing. It's time. Time for the final battle of the day here in Menlo Park at the Oculus Medium VR sculpting battles between Dylan.
Going to Tokyo is where I could possibly compete with world's best VR artists. That seems very exciting.
And Rose.
To win the competition, I just need to get over my nerves. Like I need to be confident, and I think it's really gonna be down to how you interpret the theme and how fast you work.
The winner of this battle is going to be one of the 3 artists who will accompany us to Tokyo in June for the Limits World Grand Prix. All right, Lydia, what's the theme?
All right. So the theme for the final is Sacred City.
Sacred City. Give you guys a minute to think, and then we'll get started.
Menlo Park final. Dylan versus Rose. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fight!
Ooh, this is gonna be good.
It's a similar start.
I know.
Probably the most similar that we've seen.
You know, my first thought is that I think this theme is maybe a little bit more prescriptive than other themes, but I've also been surprised at their interpretations in the past, so I don't know that that's necessarily true. Yep, seeing some good mass out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the interpretation is more literal.
Right, exactly. You know, past themes, I think there was a more obvious literal interpretation. This, I mean, I guess you could do it, but it's not like something that has obvious real-world reference.
It's true.
Unless one of them sculpts a fully detailed, accurate Vatican, just from scratch.
I was thinking various RPG scenes also come to mind.
We've never invoked Rose's fun fact on her bio that she has a bearded dragon named Nibblesnarf, which suggests she may have RPG experience to draw on.
We're not making any assumptions.
That's right. It might be literally true.
It's cool to see Dylan make the skull with the move tool.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a really, like quick way to
for sure.
mass out the holes.
4 minutes left.
I really do think, you know, the set of techniques that Dylan uses are just such a good match for that specular material. It's just like pleasing to watch it move.
Yeah, it's just like bending a really flexible clay, which is awesome.
Almost like bending, you know, like chrome or.
Also, like there's kind of a light and dark theme.
Right.
Happening
Yeah, that's
here.
true. It's really interesting from a reveal perspective, right? The fact that the mirror window just shows the eye view of the artist, right? It's almost like you want to make it dramatic, but you can't exactly not look at what you're doing. But it's interesting, right? It's like, you know, Dylan's really been focusing on one area for a little while, so I almost forgot. It's like, you know, he backed up and you're like, oh, right.
2 minutes left.
Yeah, totally. I feel like both artists are doing really well.
Yeah.
I think if I had to sculpt a city in 10 minutes, I would panic.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah, that would be my strategy too. I would just panic. That would be the first thing I'd do. 10 seconds.
Prepare to finish in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Headsets off.
And we're done.
That's it.
The theme was Sacred City, and so I thought I'll do a city, and I was going to do something sacred, but in kind of put a dark twist on sacred.
I haven't seen Dylan's sculpt at all, so I don't know what he did. And I've seen his past work, which is all really crazy, so Dylan's probably gonna win.
It's really cool to see the different approaches to the theme. I think Rose's is a little bit more literal, I think, but there's like some really surprising things about it. On Dylan's side, there's like more of a focal point, and it kind of tells a story. I almost want to ask him what the story is in his head, because it kind of shows like this universe.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like Dylan's approach really played to his strengths as an object sculptor. Like he really, everything he's done today is self-contained individual objects. And I don't know that I feel like this theme really was one that played to his strengths, but I think he interpreted it in a way that let him. That said, I don't even know if I would say that Rose's interpretation was literal so much as she's just today, certainly in the semifinals, the same thing where it was a very kind of like a diorama or a scene sculpture.
When I was looking at Dylan sculpting his final details, I didn't even notice the hand detail that Rose was sculpting at the end. So like when she placed it down, it was like really surprising.
Time for judgment.
This has been a really incredible day. We've seen a lot of amazing art made by a lot of incredibly talented artists, and this finals round was just a sight to behold. I'm super happy to have Teru here with Limits. He's the reason we first got involved with Limits. We're super honored to have him here. We're gonna let him announce the winner of the final round and the first artist who will accompany us to Tokyo for the Limits World Grand Prix in June.
Thanks, Ryan. The winner is Rose!
Oh my God.
Rose wins an all-expenses-paid trip to Tokyo to compete in the Limits Digital Art Battle.
I'm feeling good. I'm so glad that everything's over and I can finally breathe and I can finally eat and I can finally sleep. This was absolutely amazing. Like everything was so professional, everything was so exciting, and I just love meeting all the other artists. I think they're amazing, and I want to be friends with them.
Thank you guys so much. It's been an amazing day. We'll see you in New York, we'll see you in London, and then we're gonna see you in Tokyo. We can't wait. Tune in next time.
On the next Road to Tokyo, we go to New York, where 8 more contestants battle it out for a chance at glory.